am going to kick into the slideshow, and I'm going to do a little recap of what we did last time, and I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to type in the chat, because I know that not everyone got to do it last time, and I'm also sure that a lot of you have been thinking about this and have honed your ideas. So I'm going to invite you to just put it in the chat as I'm going. And John, do you want to say something about the kind of results that we got, like how people are feeling about it?
Well, I see it in the activity. There's so much emergence. And in fact, Saturday's the 50th day, halfway point, and our Peace Through Unity is going to be renamed One World. So the radical collaboration is really taking us to radical innovations that I'm seeing. The Peace on Earth by 2030 game, I mean, things are taking off, and it's not too late. It's not too late for you and your mission, or for you to join with other missions. I can go on and on. Harry published the Manhattan Project Revealed, which is incredible. I mean, we have within us genius, but that genius has stood alone for so long. The joy here is the genius is teaming up and really accepting the fact that we're beginners at that. So we're finding our way home, and your guidance, that whole question about what fundamental premises source your work, the why will find its way to the how, but to start there was just so powerful. So many people, Tamsin, shared with me that they hadn't really taken the time to think deeply about that. So let's keep going. The breakouts were fabulous. People loved that. It was highly participatory. Nothing but raves.
Awesome. Yes. Let's do this. So yeah, and if you had some kind of transformative insight in that, please do put it in the chat. The more that we talk to each other and share this journey with each other, the more synergy there's going to be. So I would invite you to be as chatty as you like. Okay, so Reno. Yeah, it was 118 in Borrego last week.
Wow.
Toasty.
That's
all right.
amazing.
Yeah, it's something. All right, here we go. I'm going to share my screen and find my play button. It's always behind everything. Play. All right, so this is where we started last week. And this. Okay. So we started talking about our why. What is motivating us in our work? And, you know, it usually starts with our own origin stories, our own stories about what makes sense in the world and what's important to us. So we started with what premises fundamentally source your work? What do you believe about the world? You know, for me, I believe that humans are just one species among 30 million, and the best way to gain true perspective on the world is to look through the eyes of other species and other individuals of all species. And I think Jane Goodall did that, and she set me on this path of opening my mind, opening my eyes and ears to other species and the way that others are seeing the world, perceiving it, and how we can all live together. So that fundamentally premises everything I do. And I want to ask, when was a time when you were really connected to that? Just I want to ask you to think about that for a moment. A time when you really felt connected to that, that you were doing the work you were put here to do. And I grounded this in Martin Luther King's speech here, that, you know, none of us can be what we're meant to be until everyone is. It's that systems actualization, that when we work together, we can create conditions where all of us can do the work we're put here to do. And so I think that is what's rooting this work, is that's living systems. You know, there's your world and your work, there's your team and your family and your people, And beyond that, all the people of all different lakes all around you, and the ecosystems that we depend on. So until those ecosystems are, until they're fully what they're supposed to be and diversified and thriving, teaming, I don't think any of us can be fully what we're meant to be. This was an example I gave of John's mission, and that is actually sourcing everything we're doing here. I love your mission, John. So it's a great honor to make it a center point of this, our deep beloved community. And we're going to come back to this as we're going, but this is really what's guiding the work here, is that we're trying to get to a point where we can radically collaborate across our worldviews, even across species barriers. But it's co-creative, co-evolutionary. And so we're going to really create a framework where we can do that work together in a conscious, intentional way. And that is the values that we might find that we share a vision or a mission, but we might also find that our values are different, slightly different. The way that we do things might be different. And so we have to reveal those things. We have to talk about them and bring them into the daylight so that we can really synergize around that. And I think this is the root of what we're doing, is starting from within. This is living systems thinking right here, starting from within and working in a circle in a sacred manner. And we heal and develop ourselves and our relationships with the world. And it just ripples outward. And that is really living systems. And as those larger systems actualize through our work, our own work becomes possible. And so I'd ask you to put in the chat right now, what would this look like to fully live this out? If what you believed was true about the world, and we fully lived that out, in 100 years, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What is that vision, that direction? Those are really the values that you're reaching towards. So I invite you to put that in the chat. So yeah, in 100 years, but then to be thinking about how we're going to make this happen, because we're really taking the first steps here, this 99 days. So what does that look like in 100 years? But what does it look like in 10 years? Something you could actually bite off in your lifetime. And what does it look like in 1 year? And what would it look like in the end of 99 days, which is only 50 more, something like that. Yeah. 99 days, here we are.
Tamsin, one thing Summer pointed out, it's good to share what's happening in the chat.
Oh, yes, please.
Recording, we were just saying, hey, this is great. But look what I hear from Scott. No money. Everyone's in touch with their gifts and their needs, and we're always taking care, and are always taken care of and always available to be of service.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Please do share these. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's right.
Embodiment of mutual respect and living harmoniously with ourselves and all sentient life.
All being safe, fed, and warm.
Human-to-human violence will no longer exist. Human beings are working together to create life in harmony with nature and planet Earth.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, I mean to interrupt, but I realized we didn't do that on the recording when I listened back. It's just, wow, that's great. Beautiful.
Yeah. No, this is awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you personally, what do you think stands in the way of that vision? What is the thing, the big thing that's in the way of that vision? And it could be very specific. It could be, broad. And I welcome all of that. The more specific you get, generally, the better results you get with this. So now I'm going to ask you, what role do you feel called to play in changing this or growing the capabilities that we need? What do you feel is your role in this? What can you do? And what are you called to do? And I would ask you to go further. chat. Who are you doing that for? And in what system?
Okay.
And this is a deep question. Maybe we want to go into a breakout for that.
Yeah. Let's get it clear. So what role are you called to play in growing these capabilities? The capabilities needed to overcome
Right.
what's holding us back, right? In whom, what's your mode? Like, who are you doing it for?
Right. Because what we find, so in regenerative work, you're always working 2 levels out, like we talked about these like nested systems, there's the larger world and the ecosystem, and then there's your world and they're nested in a way that machines are not. And so my question is, usually you would work 2 levels out. So what can I do to grow capabilities in somebody else or in others that are doing this work? It often ends up working out that way with regenerative thinking. Right. Here we are. I hope that was fun for you. Let me get my chat going. Okay, now I am going to invite you all to put your insights from that breakout into the chat. So what role are you called to play in growing the capabilities we require? Okay, we have a facilitator for individual and collective action, for transformation, systems of inequity. Wonderful.
It is good to have one. I'm glad we have one in the canoe.
Yeah.
Facilitate that.
Yes. So please, everyone, type away. Please share what your insights were. What do you feel called to play in this, in growing these capabilities? Eagle Woman.
Scott says, my role is to bring individuals and groups together to support each other. Our awakening world.
Mm.
All right. Helping facilitate personal and planetary steward airship.
Oh yeah.
Charles.
Generative leader.
Pay for canoe insurance. Working at the level of consciousness to affect a paradigm change.
Oh, we're gonna get into that too.
Work in the UN. My role is to connect, unite,
Weaver.
amplify all the people in the world choosing to act from love. Sean Love Mason. I told you about Dr. Carmen Ortiz. She says she's a regenerative leader creating the conditions for all in my team to thrive and make wise decisions with their money. Oh my God, thank God we have that in this canoe. Help build the live networks. Yes. Weaver.
Peace, entertainment. Wow. Joy, abundance, activator, like it. The Baylor. Mm-hmm.
To create peace entertainment and peace infrastructures in governments, to cultivate common ground and shared interests between all people and cultures.
We got a rower. Baylors and rowers.
Liberatory. I'm here. Oh, you guys are so good.
So great. All right. So now, if I can go to the next one. Oh, we got a few more. That's so amazing.
I want to read Nancy's. Make a simple, fun movie about the power of words. For example,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as conflict if it is reframed as not cooperating.
That's so great. Because then you put in the position of enabling cooperation instead of fighting conflict.
Right? They say war is failed diplomacy.
Yeah. And so then it becomes, you're reframing it as a positive, like what can I enable and empower and develop, grow? That's living systems thinking right there. Beautiful.
Awesome. Jay's got welcoming people to experience the oneness 5D consciousness, all things known all the time, and many different people. It's hard to keep reading because it keeps jumping in communities into their part to play in the Holo movement. Yes to the Holo movement.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, fabulous.
Okay. So let's go. Oh, we're still getting them. Oh my gosh, so good. Storyteller. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Hallway, Janice Hall, evolutionary pattern weaver and storyteller, connecting us into knowing that we each have a role in the ecosystem of the new earth, an authentic self. The new earth already exists, that there are actually enough of us to foster the social, environmental, and spiritual change. We just don't know each other. Oh,
Oh. Okay. Now we're gonna get into some really good stuff here. So this is going to call on you to, I'm going to ask you to put it into this format, because now we're going to be able to start aligning our work together. So what I want you to write is, because I believe what it is that you believe, I'm called to your role in a way that your values, so that this greater thing happens.
wow.
Okay, so this is going to take you some time to really think into this. Should we do this as a breakout, John, or should we give them some time to think on it personally?
Yeah, no, I think having them write it down and put it in the chat.
Yeah.
That's
It is
probably-
hard. It is hard, and this will take some doing, and this is where we'll start to help each other articulate things really clearly. So yeah, John, let's give them 5 minutes to journal on this and to just to really think into it, and just keep putting it in the chat.
All right, let me try to do this with you to see if I can breathe life into this. So for me, because I believe that love wins, I am called to serve in a way that empowers all of us so that we can find our way home. Just one. So go for it, guys, gals. Every pronoun, any pronoun.
Let's see.
Because I believe I am called to.
Hey, Dr. Tampson, can you say how you broke it down though? Can you go through that one more time? You said values,
Yeah.
and then
Okay,
can you just as we're in this, thank you.
sure. Because I believe this premise, I am called to my role in a certain system in a way that, you know, the values that are most important to you, you know, so that this larger thing happens. So I might say, because I believe that every living thing has a right to be itself in the world, creating, and that coevolution is a product of all of us showing up. I'm called to create space for coevolutionary radical collaboration in a way that highlights our collective intelligence, so that we all have, you know, all our beliefs and work is equally valid, so that we can create the world that we need for all of us, every living thing. So evolution will continue. Yeah, the more specific you get, the more the juice comes through.
And you know, Tamsin, this is kind of like a prompt,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
And
that's
you
right.
can, right? We're learning how to create these prompts, and you could use this and refine it again and again. So this is really a template for kind of thinking.
Mhm.
Brings us an integrative view of ourselves and our role in the world. And the
Yeah. Because I think that what tends to happen is, you know, we have strong feelings, and so, you know, we want to do something that feels, you know, good, but anchoring, there's more to it than that, right? It's not just the feelings, it's also the doing, and it's also the being. So I think of this as a triad of you know, because I feel this way, I'm called to do this very specific thing, but in a way that aligns with my being. So you can think of this as a triangle. And you have to have all three of those elements to be effective.